Okay, hey guys, it's me, Andrew. Just here to do a tutorial. I hope you can see me, because I did spend a little bit, at least to my credit, some time trying to get this set up. And I have a better mic setup too. I was able to get, turns out it's just a battery thing for the Rode microphone, the video mic that goes on top of the camera. So I'm just going to be doing a tutorial. This is a little bit not too out of character. It's been a while since I did tutorials, where it's just like more of a studied kind of look at somebody else's work, rather than just covers and stuff of it. But I hope this will come as some help to people online, because this is the Sufjan Stevens song. It's called the Wallowa Lake Monster, which is like a really beautiful, just like sublime, ethereal B-side, actually, to Carry On Lowell. So it came out probably around the time that the album came out, maybe a year or two after. And yeah, I came a little bit late to the party. I didn't find out about the song till like a few years back, but yeah, it's ever since it's stuck in my head. And it's just, I noticed there is not a tab, but a chord sheet online showing the chords themselves, but they are a little bit wonky, they're a little bit bare, I should say. Like, they're not really showing us all those kind of convoluted chords, like, you know, like the chord changes or like the kind of modal, you know, transposing type of things that he does in the song. So yeah, I'm gonna try to start out on like the verse part, where it's like, so this part is the, he starts on an E minor, but it's not necessarily in the key of E minor. It's as if you know the story of Wallowa Lake, the vine thorn first dear, the memory she kept them hidden from the plain. Have you heard the story of my mother's fate? So it has those chords, the verse chords. It starts off in E minor, but Sufjan seems to be playing. It almost sounds like he does this sometimes on Carry On Lowell, different tracks too, like Death with Dignity. It's hard to tell what he's playing on like a actual live guitar like this, which is probably, you know, this is kind of just a old kind of a Martin D series guitar I got like years and years back, but I can travel with it, so it's like it makes it easy, you know, for somebody on a budget like me. But you know, with I think Sufjan Stevens uses a fair deal of like different kind of traditional instruments too. Like he mixes in like a lute. There's something he calls called a guitarlin, I think, which is like a mix between a traditional kind of guitar strings, and I think with like shape with a lute, or no wait, guitarlin. Hold up. No, mandolin. I think that's why I was like trying to figure out what the end to that last what the loon was part. But you know, I know the guitar-loon, I think it's like a mandolin. So anyway, but yeah, like a mandolin's like has like a, you know, like almost as if it's capoed way up, you know, like it's like you could of course my cutaway, I don't really have much room on an acoustic, but you know, it rides with its freedom, but it almost sounds like it's like there's something called Nashville tuning, I think, which is like, I think the three, I don't know if it works only with 12-string guitars, but there's something to do with like only the top three guitar, or the top three strings are like tuned like with octaves or something. So yeah, that was using like Dust in the Wind. But yeah, there's you know, every person's first guitar song ever. I think that was probably one of among the first kind of tunes I probably learned, aside from like something by Simon and Garfunkel, I think. But anyway, yeah, but Sufjan seems to be using a different guitar, either that or something that's like tuned way up. But then again, he also could just very well be doing this, starting on E minor to an A. So I'm just going to show you the chord, rather than doing it like the exact plucking pattern, because he seems to be doing like pretty quickly. Now there's some stuff, which is why I love his style so much, because it's very much his own, but it's like a cross mix between, it's like a hybrid between like synth kind of drawn out, almost like Boards of Canada / Aphex Twins kind of like dreamy synth pads / electronica type stuff, like a beat or something like that, a little bit Radiohead, but mixed with like the kind of sensibility of like almost like a just like a indie folk kind of, you know, acoustic guitar and acoustic piano and, you know, other stringed instruments and, you know, banjo too. I know he uses banjo a lot. But yeah, he's using that, and I think that's still, there's a reminiscent of like the Age of Odds there too, because he has songs like that kind of have, there are so many of the songs on there aren't guitar based at all. I think he was trying to get away from that and trying to get away from the trumpet as well, like instruments that he used. But he said something to the effect of like his stuff was like a bit of chamber pop. It's a bit of like, especially with Illinois, for example. Illinois. But it's, the stuff on there is like very, there's a lot of like, he said it was like, I can't remember what interview, it was like MTV, I think, back when they actually played real music, or I'm just kidding. But they had an interview with him, surprisingly, where he was like talking about how, what he described his overall sound as being, and he said something effective like fifth grade band meets like classical orchestra or something. There was like a kind of something of the, you know, and you do hear that. I hear him using like modal, I don't know, what do you call this, modal interchange? He uses stuff like this, like where it's like starts in a D, like, I could have swore I tuned this, but anyway, I don't know if I want to waste your time doing this or what. Anyway, yeah, he does stuff like, you know, like dum, dum, stuff like that. Obviously, you know, his probably most famous ever song is probably Chicago. I don't know. So he goes from, I like to think of him as, I don't want to start putting labels on anybody, but I like to think of him as like a minimalist at heart who really wants to like go ambitious and like layer a lot of stuff on there. So you hear like 50 different female voices kind of, and you still hear that on Wallowa Lake too, like he's doing. I'm trying to focus back on the song here, but yeah, hear that too, where he like goes to the chorus and he's like, and she said, no way, and she said what's on the way to la, da, da, da. You can hear another kind of la la la, la, da, 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 da. You hear that harmonizing in, no wait, no. No oblation can bring her pain to Anyway, I'll get to that later. But yeah, you hear those same kind of recandescence, kind of using, he has habits and a formula, I'd say, but he doesn't let those habits, he's still very experimental. I mean, just listen to like all the, you know, the three different instrumental albums he did, which are very beautiful, with his, I think his father-in-law, I think Lowell Brahms. And yeah, they just like go completely all out with like just like synth tones and like atmosphere and more creating textures and more of like a Steve Reich / maybe a bit of Philip Glass too. Like you hear Philip Glass kind of just like a really like a you're just like really yeah, something. But you know, very simple, just kind of chord sequences, but that get kind of that return back formula and back to, you know, like kind of you know, like a little slight diversion and then back to it. You know, which I'm not trying to say is exactly what Stevens is doing. But he seems to be doing a I don't know, like a, it's like, so he's doing that picking pattern, so it's like use it to like an A9. And you can always just do, if I just want to show you the chords themselves, you could just like look up the chord sheet online, so I don't want to waste your time, but it's like A minor, and if you know the song, A, you know, it's always that chord, always that string, I'm sorry. I swear, I think it's, because I recently changed strings, but it's like, I think it's the actual, like tuning peg itself is like a little wonky. So yeah, he does like, anyway. Story. A, maybe A9. Oh, alone, late to G. So now that sounds like the tonic, because he's like, you hear that kind of, the 1, 2, or the rather, that's, it's in jazz, it's called the 2-1-5, and there's different variations of it. You can do like, or like, commonly what you hear that is like that. I hear when Elliott Smith uses stuff like that, he's like, okay, something like that. Where he'll go from that, like, you know, major third above that A, so it's like a major third. Or you could occasionally do this. You could just do kind of the relative minor version of that with A minor to, you know, classic major to minor kind of thing. Or, but anyway, so yeah, he goes to A, and then he goes to Do. Oh, I guess you could do a walk up. So on Leviathan first, this is a very kind of lots of words, a word heavy song, which is good. I like that. When the children sleep. So that's excuse me. So Leviathan said in the deep. Go back to that tonic G, like we're in G. This is what that chord is signifying to me, at least, because sometimes I need that kind of indication. So you do that, and it's like, no, but have you heard the story of my mother's fate? Left us in Detroit in the rain, the pillowcase. Fortune for the paper rain. I was doing a little Paul Simon kind of. Like, yes, you don't need to do that. Sorry. We started way too quickly. Anyway, so yeah, he says you could do C up here, or you could do this, voicing C at 9. It sounds like that's what he's doing, kind of, with that guitar. And then like a walk down onto like a B. It could be a B over G. You could do G up here on the 9th fret, like that, with that C chord, using kind of the cage system where you're like, excuse me, you're fell asleep. You know, where that shape up there is like the same, that shape there, and that shape is also the same here. So you could do that too. It sounds like he is doing that. He's doing this, like technically, he's like, I'm going to it. I just can't replicate that picking pattern because it's like a. Because I'm trying to kind of like rest two of my fingers here, just out of habit, and that's probably a bad habit, but so it's probably preventing me from actually picking. But he's like, I love chords like, I'm not saying he's doing this, but I just love chords like G, major seventh, add 6 to it, like a 6, like if you leave that, and you can easily do that just by doing this, or you could do that too. I love doing stuff like that. It's like or you could really stack it, I guess. You could make it a ninth too. Like something like that. I don't know. And that could also like get the sound of minor and stuff. But anyway. But if you want to, you could also just do this, because it almost sounds like I said, I think earlier, pitch shift it. Like it sounds like you could play it, which is a lot easier. Put it down to Joseph. So what I love about, just to go take a quick break from the instrumental aspect of it and then go to the lyricism, which I'm probably more or less not quite primed for, kind of analyzing or whatever as much as I am quite, at least at the moment. But like I love how he does like returning to the rhyme scheme of it, like like in a similar way he does with I Should Have Known Better, like she like, and when I was three, and when I was 3, maybe 4, she left us at that video store. But then later on it's like when I was 3, or when I was free to explore, I think he says. So it's like that kind of reiteration of like the same rhyming thing. But like later down the stanzas down of the past for and he reintroduces those kind of same phrases and stuff like that. Like he kind of something like he'll repeat himself and say like it's like he'll repeat himself without sounding repetitive. That's a good indication of his own craftsmanship, I say. Anyway, so yeah, he's so I'm gonna just go to the verse. I'm just gonna one more time do this thing where he's like, so it's E minor, chords, looking right, and then to G, play it up here, you can play it down there, and then C, you can play it up here, you can play it on there with that kind of E shape on the 8th fret, to B minor / B over G major, so that on the tonic G, so we're back there, and then he does that, and then on the break / I don't want to call it the chorus, bridge, I think it's called a bridge, I think I'll call this a bridge, okay, as she waits, so he goes from, you can strum it, I think you can pick it, you can do that. If you can match the picking, I feel bad because I actually haven't mastered that kind of. But, if you want to, you can just strum it. She waits. So he does C, and then it's a D. Now this is where all the atmospheric kind of instruments start to get in. Waits for her children in the shade. And then it's F. So no, now here's where it gets tricky, because I was trying to find the root note on a little bit on the piano, but also on the guitar, mainly the guitar, but trying to find that root note of what he's doing. And it sounds like when he does like Demogorgon and the Ghost Bird, it sounds like one part of him is playing like A minor, but another part of him could be playing C, or maybe he's playing a chord on the guitar and then something different on those different like kind of synth instruments he played. But anyway, so he does that, and there's also lots of guitar effects too. Like you hear the guitar like kind of being mixed and modulated in such a way that it's like delayed and like echoes, like there's an echo chamber around it. It's like kind of coming back later on in different ways, different phrases and stuff. So that adds to the atmosphere of it too, like kind of the really dreamy atmosphere, like awe-inspiring. for lack of a better epithet. Anyway, so yeah, he's like, oh, so no one puff, no make go again on tap, me God, goose parade. And then it's B flat. No oblation will bring her back. Now, this is where it gets tricky again because I'm confused about the parts where it's like da, da, da. I know for sure that's a C. Okay, even then I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that's a C. And then F. Da, 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 da. But does he do that, or does he do the relative major above it? He's either goes to A minor or C. Whatever it is, I think either one kind of works. You can get away with either one. I know that he uses a lot of like 6 chords too. Like he'll use like chords like this, like something like, you know, something like that. Or, but then he'll also do stuff like this too, like. He'll do stuff like that, like kind of reintroducing chord inversions too, like just playing different kind of like a. No, he'll do something. You hear that kind of in pop music a little bit, but he'll make it play it in such a way that puts it like a new light, I guess. He's capable of playing chords that seem to be simple on their face, but then end up turning it on its head in such a way that makes it actually kind of unique, very unique. And anyway, but yeah, he does like oblation. Oh, no, wait, it's like D to C and then F to either A minor or C, either one. Let's go to my book, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, and then he does no oblation will bring her. Now I'm not sure this is different because you hear bring her back, because F share 2 notes, F and A minor. Those two, like that C and an A, they both share the same notes, so it sounds like he's going to A minor. And you could kind of do like, I like to kind of do that just to kind of flirt with playing enough, but like not really fully playing enough. So he's like, no oblation will bring her back to our place. And then it's D. To A over 6. This is the chorus, I think, technically. Even though it's, it goes from very flowery, not flowery, but it's just like descriptive language, like lots of leading up, and then it's just like a total summation of all that is just like, no, just cessation rather of just to like nonverbal lyrics to C over G, or you could play C, pretty much that, or you could play A minor too. Well, actually, it's probably best that you do C. To G, or I'm sorry, E minor, maybe G, or maybe C over G. I'm not sure. So you do, or E minor 6, or whatever. And when it's doing it, it's like you hear that modally talking out, so it's like do that F sharp minor over A or A6. It's like walking down. So here's our tonic, and then it's like it's kind of like it's totally walking down, so it's like so we're on D, la la la, kind of natural, dreamy, and then we're like to add flavor to it, make it 9th. You could also do it up here. You could also voice it up here. Or you could put F minor up here. I like this voicing too. F minor, or sorry, F sharp minor. And then maybe C major 7 for flavor. And then he does go back to that B flat, Back to that G. We're back in the G. The G tonic of everything. And then he goes back into it again. As she stayed within the deep end of Wallowa Lake, the young autumn first refrain from the flames from feathered wing. Cherubidis. Said words again. Greek mythology kind of words. In the shadow of the grave. So yeah, so it's again just doing that thing. Back to that. Red Napoleon. So anyway, and then it goes back to this, and it's like, as she waits for the winds to reside, and waits for the children, da-da-da. A remarkable stoicism and her prior. When the dragon submerged, we knew she had back into the D. So basically what it's doing is like transposing or modulating, I should say, because it's using borrowed chords quite a bit. So basically, you know, you go back to that da, 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 da. You know, that's not so out of touch, you know, da. Especially since we're assumed to be in G, right? Just from the major fifth, you know, D in that sense, to major fourth, and then we're like, but then he does, and then it borrowed the F, which is out, you know, basically a secondary subdominant, I think, because we're Dorian. You could just as well do that. But he doesn't just do that. He does go this, and he's like, and it's very free at this point. There's no like time signature. It seems, or there's no tempo that seems to be. The tempo at first was like kind of urgent, right? It's like, whoa, I'm not picking a tempo. But now you can just kind of like. Again, female voices backing him up, but very sparse this time, kind of like very hushed. No oblations will bring no oblation. A remarkable stoicism. And we're back to A minor. This, yeah. La, la, la. So again, D. Ta-da. Okay, so the last portion of the song is when he segues on the guitar. I was showing you kind of how to play the chorus in the spirit of that kind of loose tempo, where it's like la la la. No wait, and then because it goes back to that kind of no interpretation, no oblation. So this is kind of a circleless fifth thing where you go like la da 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 da. This is like relations kind of kind of minor thirds on top of minor thirds, which I think I mentioned before here. But so he does that, you know, the same chords as the first kind of thing, pre-chorus, I should say, actually, not in hindsight. Or yeah, that remarkable stoicism. It's not the one which we knew she had died. So now going into D major, la 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 la, to that F sharp minor slash, which again is that kind of, you know, the minor third above D, right? No. totally natural. You know, that's totally natural to play. There's nothing spooky there. But then he does this, which is C slash, or you can play inversions. You can play la la la, and then it just repeats that, and it just gets more and more. It intensifies, and there's a washing sound of a wall. No, more than a wall, but like an ocean of sound, just like submerged, and you're just like kind of you're just brought into this, invited into this world of just like complete like just awe and just stupor, and just like wow, like what is like I can't really describe that with just a guitar, you know, but I'll try. It's just and again those feminine, those female voices. I'm sorry, I should know who he collaborates with by this time, but their names are I know he collaborated with, you know, St. Vincent used to sing backup for him too, so, and play various instruments and stuff. Yeah, two great talents. Anyway, but yeah, going back to that, just like I'm not sure if this is exactly what they're singing, but excuse my voice, I'm not remotely even the top, you know, best ever. You know, I'm not even the even though I myself would like to consider myself a singer-songwriter, I actually don't think of myself as that much of a singer. I'm more of just a songwriter who happens to try to use singing as a means of trying to get in between, trying to use it as kind of a sandwich piece, I guess, to piece together different ideas that I have. So I'm like, I feel myself, I'm better, oddly enough, doing falsetto on things. Probably for trying to sing to Tom York a lot when he does, but you know, but then it seems also what he could be doing is like B minor. I think he's playing B minor. And just, you know, like I said, just kind of layers on top of layers. Anyway, that's all. To my best ability, at least within my capacity at the moment, that is the Wallowa Lake Monster by Sufjan Stevens. And yeah, let me know what you think. But yeah, unfortunately, I think there's only like one other. There's no tutorials online that I could find, at least, but at least not on YouTube. So I might not have been looking hard enough. But yeah, there is a really good cover by this other person. Not sure exactly. He does like an actual like clicked. You know, he actually does all that. You know, the guitar parts very well. But yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, check out other covers of it. Check out other people just covering Sufjan Stevens stuff, or anybody else's like just great music in general. And yeah, because there's so much to learn. Yeah, and I've just begun. Haven't even scraped the surface of like, you know, music as an art form. And even though I've been doing it for years and years, as doing it, you know, in different degrees. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.